Estamos en vivo.
This is the city of the sun.
El Paso, Texas. Live in Thalia. Fashion.
Yeah,
Icons.
you go down, you go down.
Artists.
Come on, come on. Yeah, yeah.
Food. Sports.
You go down, you go down, you go down.
Y mucho más.
Come on, yeah, yeah. You go down.
Different is what we do. Live and talented.
This segment is brought to you by Solar Kings. Join the empire of solar energy today.
The catwalk, the photos, the lights, the camera, the action. Get on your Prime and begin training today. Register at latstudio.com and become a Halo model. Hello, El Paso. Welcome to yet another segment of Local Icons. Today's guest is all the way from New York City. And yes, he is a local icon simply because he visits the Sun City area on a yearly basis to one of the iconic events here in El Paso, and it's El Paso Fashion Week. And all the way from New York City, help me welcome Mr. Jordan Torres.
What's up, guys?
How are you, Jordan?
How you doing, man? I'm good. And yourself?
You can hear me good, right?
Yeah, we're all good. Ready to rock.
Hey, my man, how's this pandemic treating you to begin with? Well, how's life in New York?
Life in New York is not too bad. Everything. I was stuck in LA when everything first started to happen, so I was happy to get out here and be with my family. It's been all over the place, but I'm just happy to be with my loved ones and hoping everybody's keeping safe. You know, it's out of my control.
Yeah, absolutely. So is that how the switch happened from LA to New York? This pandemic kind of took you, to be with your loved ones?
Yeah, it kind of put a lot of things into perspective. You know, I'm always traveling. I've been out. I've probably moved out of my mom's place since I've been like 16 years old. So I've always been on the go, from playing rugby, then, becoming a model and stuff. So being in LA, being alone and not being like, no family or close friends, I was like, during this tough time, you want to be with your loved ones, So if you are with your loved ones during this tough time, it puts things into perspective of appreciating that,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, as you mentioned, you're definitely, going on and taking your career to another level. You've been modeling for some years, but before we go into all those highlights and the inspirational, stories, I want you to just give everybody watching a little bit of background on who Jordan Torres is and where he was born and raised, siblings, no siblings. Talk to us a little bit of Jordan Torres in his childhood years.
Yeah, for sure. So nice to meet you guys. I'm Jordan Torres. I am 27 years old, born in July, born and raised in Bronx, New York. My mom was a single parent, grew up with 3 brothers. I'm the 4th one, I'm the baby. Unfortunately, 2 of my older brothers passed away. I have 1 older brother that still lives back home. 100% Puerto Rican. Been in the game for a while. A young man trying to just provide for his family. That's my biggest thing. And also keeping my morals, My mom's my everything. She's a warrior. She came from Puerto Rico at 16 years old, and built from the ground up. So she's somebody I look up to. Very hard worker. And that's pretty much the back end of who I am and where I come from. I'm big on being back from the Bronx, Didn't grow up with a lot, so I'm trying to provide for my family and, one day when I have my own family. So being back from New York taught me a lot.
Absolutely. Growing up in a city, as big as New York and possibly, one of the top biggest cities in the world, it gets tough. You're
Yeah.
set to challenges early in life,
Fast life.
especially in the Bronx.
Exactly. The Bronx, you gotta eat or be eaten. That's how it goes.
Or be eaten. Absolutely. Well, Jordan, we want to hear and we want to get inspired and motivated through your story. How did you end up modeling? Who discovered you? What age did this happen? Tell us a little bit about how that ended up, kind of kickstarting.
For sure. So that's a good question. So everybody is always asking me like, oh, how did you become a model? How did it start for you? So one day, I used to play professional rugby, and I was getting ready to go to college at the time. So two of my friends was like, hey, let's go to the city, go shopping, get some clothes and stuff. So it was funny because I went to go buy a pair of jeans, and I went 3 days in a row. First day I couldn't get the jeans. Second day I couldn't get the jeans. The third day I finally found the jeans. And as me and my friends are walking, there was this guy chasing us. And, we from the Bronx, so, we're like, somebody's chasing us, like, what's happening, so we're turning around, like, trying to protect ourselves. And this guy's like, oh, hey, like, can I talk to you? And I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, are you a model? I'm like, no, like, I've never had no, like, thought of being that's the part that, like, shocks a lot of people. Like, I've never thought of being a model or anything. Like, that was never my cup of tea, like, it kind of just gradually it was a door opening for me. So when he was talking to me, he's like, oh, are you a model? I'm like, no, I'm not. He's like, are you with an agency? I'm like, no. So, at the time I was just kind of like a little skeptical because there's so much fake business out there that I wanted to stay away from.
Yeah.
So he's like, let me take some pictures of you and, let me give you my card. So I'm like, okay, like, yeah, that's fine. So my friend's like, yo, bro, like, like you're going to be a model. Like, that's cool, man. Like, I came home, I told my mom about it. She's like, no, I don't believe it. Like, be careful with that stuff. So I went and did my research because I'm like, man, maybe this is a door that's opening for me. Like, maybe this is like God giving me a sign of something, like it's a change the path, because I knew there was some type of switch going on. So I did my research. I looked up the agency. I saw like a lot of like dudes I've seen before and, females as well. And then I was like, so I called the guy. I'm like, hey, I'd love to set up a meeting. He's like, yeah, come by, come by the agency. So I brought a friend with me just in case. So I swing by the agency. It was in this big building. You walk in, there was, like an assistant. It was like front desk. And I was just like, man, this is the real deal. Like, started to see like all these male models and, coming in and out. And then they offered me a contract at 17. And I brought it home to my mom. And she was like, oh, I'm not signing it. Like, I don't, there's lawyer fees and stuff. And I was just like, all right. I started working at 17, and then at 18, I signed it. And then 2 weeks later, I was in Paris.
Oh my God.
Just like that. Yeah. Just like that.
Just like that. And
Just
it's
like
so,
that.
I mean, we've all heard stories like this, and it almost seems unreal. And to hear it from somebody that, I can, reach out to, such as yourself, and you're so credible. It puts everything else that we've heard, kind of like on the back end, and this is real.
Yeah.
This is really potentially could be happening. I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of stereotyping, when it comes to modeling. They stereotype the agents, they stereotype models that you have to be super thin, especially for women. You have to be super skinny. They don't let you eat, malnutrition, whatever. And
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case anymore. I think, the actual industry has changed dramatically. Maybe in the 70s, maybe in the 80s, they were a little bit more harsh and people got away with a lot of things. But the way the world works now with technology, I mean, look, we're doing an interview via Zoom,
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
and so there's so many precautionary measures that exist that, it's really hard for people to get away like that.
Yep.
That's really
100%.
cool, man. So how old were you? You were 18 when this all started?
17.
17. So you've been
And
in the
then I
game
signed the
10
contract.
years.
Yeah, signed the contract at 18. Yep.
What did your mom say?
So at that point, it was fun. It was a funny story because she had no idea, So but before, like when I went to Paris and stuff, I know, of course, I had to tell her I'm 18 going to Paris. She was like, like, but it all come. I shot a job for Macy's, and she went to work, and her coworkers was like, "Hey, I think this is your son. Like, this looks exactly like your son. Like, this got to be your son." And she's like, "No, my son isn't. He's not modeling and stuff." Like, she's like, "No." Like, she saw the picture, and it was like, "Yeah, this is your son." And she's like, "Yeah, that's my son." She came home. She was like, but when she came home, I gave her half of my check, so there wasn't much to complain about.
You already had a strategy to get
Yeah,
away
and
with
then
it.
the next week later, I was in Paris walking for Givenchy on Paris Fashion Week, so everything just kicked off.
Oh my God. Okay, so then you got into this game. You were 17, 18, 17. So that was going to be one of my questions. Who were your first 3 to 5 jobs that you can recall that you were really kind of starstruck in a way, I guess, blown away?
Okay, so it was definitely being in Paris, which was really cool. Paris Fashion Week, being a part of that. Shooting the Versace fragrance was really cool as well. That was something, especially with such a big photographer and, big production and a big brand like Versace.
Yeah.
That was definitely a cool experience. And then 3 was probably working for my favorite brand, Nike, just seeing all that new product and being able to shoot in it and, seeing myself on the website. That was actually a really good feeling as well. I want to say those are probably like top 3, and also working with Thalia as well.
Thalia.
Who's very big in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
And that was just cool. Her being Latino and me being Latino, it was just like, it just felt good to just be on that same set, like.
Since you touched a little bit on Thalia, since you're touching on it, that was going to be another of my questions. Because I remember when you were here last time for El Paso Fashion Week, you said, yeah, I shot this video with an artist, and she's like super big, but I had no clue till I told my mom, and you said,
yeah.
Give us a little rundown on that. How did it? Tell everybody how that happened. That's
so
funny.
My agent calls me, and he's like, "Hey, this magazine Galore wants to shoot you with a famous celebrity," and I'm like, who is it? And they're like, "Oh, it's Thalia," and I was just like, "Oh," like, and my agent is like, "Just call your mom and tell her. She'll be excited." So I was like, "All right, cool." So I called my mom, and I was like, "Mom, like, they want me to shoot Thalia." And she's like, "Oh my God, Thalia! Oh my God, she's big. I knew her she did so many novelas." And so I was like, "Oh, okay, so mom would like this, So I went and shot, and then after I did my research and everything, and then I put 2 and 2 together, I was like, man, this is a pretty big deal, Like, I had no idea, especially for the Latin community. So, and then being in El Paso, as well, a lot of my friends being you and, Robert and Hector and all these people, they were big. They were like, man, like, that's huge, So it felt cool. It felt cool.
That's awesome, brother. I mean, to be working with those, renowned names, in the celebrity business, it's amazing. I mean, I'm sure she goes through her or her agent, the producer, whatever it may be. They go through a ton of guys that she could choose from, to choose. I mean, it's obvious why she chose you. Yeah, this cute baby face, man, chiseled body.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? I'm going to take this opportunity right now to roll this clip that we have of some of Jordan Torres' latest editorials. So let's check them out.
My name is Jordan Torres. I'm 6'2". I'm with DT Model Management. I've been modeling for about 5-6 years now. My biggest hobby will be playing sports. My favorite sport is basketball, but I did play professional rugby for a couple years. Have a good day. See you guys.
It's time to reinvent yourself, and what better than to help your community get stronger and healthier? Freedom Academy has a short and quick career paths in the medical field. Get started with courses in phlebotomy, EKG tech, and certified nurse's assistant. Freedom Academy paves a road for a new journey with satisfaction. Call now to enroll. Business owners note that location is key. Look no further. Loop 10 Business Park is ready with top-notch retail space. Set in the corner of Rojas and Joe Battle, the busiest highway intersection in El Paso. This area funnels thousands of vehicles every hour to all quadrants of the city. Your business endeavors should be noticed, and all characteristics of a successful business plan start here. Become an owner and never rent together. We have accessible pricing and the deal of the century. This is the American dream. Call now for more information.
Dance El Paso, let's dance! LAT Studio offers the ultimate dance experience in both East and West Side, with classes in ballet, jazz, and hip hop. Dance is one of the best ways for kids to channel that boundless energy after school. And if you really want to get serious, you can also join one of our competitive dance teams. Register online at latstudio.com and receive your first month absolutely free. Or call us today, East Side off Pelicano or West Side off Remcon. See you there.
Good stuff, Jordan. Good stuff, man. I'm always impressed with all your stuff. I mean, I remember that one of the first times that you came to El Paso, I think Robert had posted something about you. You know, we're gonna have a special guest model from LA and New York, and I was like, man, who is this cat? This cat is pretty dope. So congratulations, man. That speaks highly of you. All the success stories that you have. Hey, Jordan, who's representing you right now, and have you had previous agents in the past? Talk to us a little bit about the agencies.
Yeah, for sure. So I've probably been through, I want to say, mother agencies, because the way the agencies work, where you're based, you have a mother agency, and it's like an umbrella that deals with all your other agencies in different states and different countries. So I've probably swapped mother agencies twice. Right now, my mother agency is General Management, who's actually a smaller agency, but I'm also with Next Models Worldwide. So I also deal with Next in Next New York, Next Milan, Next Paris, and in London I'm with Nevs, and then in LA I'm with DT Model Management, NTA as my talent agency, and then I have management for TV and film. So it's a whole team across the board. Yeah, so it's a pretty, you know, like, I want to say the way the agency is, you know, you're going to go through agencies till you find the right one who's willing to push for you. But something I really realized being in the industry for so long is that it's not about the name. It's about who's going to push for you. You know, it's about what agents are going to really, really put all their effort in for you. Because I used to think, you know, going with the biggest name agencies, you're going to instantly climb up the ladder, you know, you're going to get there, but it's not really like that, you know. So it's all about who's going to, you know, put all their effort in for you. So I got a pretty solid team right now that I'm happy with, you know. A lot of good agencies across the board, all over the world, you know. But right now, I'm pretty satisfied with my team.
That's good, man. I mean, you're talking about, all those agencies you named, you know, one of them's bound to give you more than the other. But having a little bit everywhere and diversify, you know, that's can potentially give you consistent work, you know.
Yep.
And right now with this pandemic, everything's slowed down. You've pretty much haven't been doing anything, or is there a little bit of work here and there?
Surprisingly, you know, it definitely slowed down a lot of shoots, you know, and auditions and that kind of process. You know, I was supposed to be filming 2 pilots that got pushed back. So that kind of slowed that area down. But now through social media, I'm able to keep my bills paid, you know. that's the power of social media right now. So that's the beneficial. I got contracts to that as well. So that's been helping me, but it's definitely slowed down a lot of, a lot of the shoots that, but like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. But I was able to get some stuff done that, came out this summer, some magazine covers. I got another one dropping soon. So grateful for that.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, man. We need to cover, and I need you to help me explain, because I mean, here at LAT Studio, we have a modeling division, and I'm consistently trying to cultivate young models, aspiring models, into the business, because everybody just sees, the final product. Everybody sees your covers. Everybody sees those amazing pictures, but little do they know of all the work that goes before that, prior to that, like taking care of your body, taking years to learn how your body functions. Then there's the actual industry and the procedures or protocol that they have. That's always changing as well. Coming from you, I think it'll be very educational for everybody to listen to and learn from. Can you give us a little breakdown as to how the modeling, now that you explained that you have the agents, when you get a call or when there's a casting, before you get the call, when there's a casting, what happens, Jordan? Explain to these young models.
Yeah, so now, being in it for so long, but when you first get into, you get all these castings, because you're a new face, and all these people want to meet you. So you get all these castings. So you're in these open castings with a lot more models. And then you get to a point where you get request castings, and your agent would notify you it's a request. So that means they sent over a package and they physically picked you to see you, so they want to see you. So you go to these castings, so you have a certain time frame, for example, I got one tomorrow while I'm here in New York. So I got to go tomorrow for a lookbook, and, I got to go to the showroom. So they want me to try on clothes. So from 2 to 3, that's my time frame for this casting. So you go to this casting, you meet the client, you usually have a book and, a comm card with your sizes, all that stuff. And they'll go through your book, check your portfolio. They'll take some raw digitals of you, just real simple ones. And then, from that point on, they like you get called back. And then if most, you just either get booked. That's how the casting process works. But, after like the blessing part of it, now also there's direct bookings as well. So, now just do off your raw digitals at an agency, they send it to a client likes you, they book you for a certain amount of days, easy peasy. That's what every model wants, but unfortunately it's just not like that for everybody. There's castings and there's go-sees, and that's how that process, that's how the casting process is. But as of preparing yourself for these shoots and these castings, you always want to just be on your A game. Like I was just telling my friends that, like, man, how many haircuts do you get? Or, I got to get manis, I got to get pedis, I got to be working out 5 to 6 days a week. I got to make sure my hair, because this is my brand, this is my money maker. This is how I pay my bills, So you want to stay on top of that game, and I feel like as a model, you always want to be taken care of, because that's something that most clients pay attention to, someone that, takes care of their skin, they're physically in shape, all that stuff is just going to only benefit you, so I just feel like not even just for as being a model, I feel like just alone, you should always want to stay on top of yourself. You got one body, you want to, one body, you want to make sure it's on top of the line, all effort, all the time.
Yeah, your image is your company, and everything about your image, needs to be taken care of, groomed, physically always, healthy.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for sharing that. I think that's going to be very educational and, for all these young aspiring models to listen to.
For sure.
And to finish off and close this interview, I really want you to touch, and I wanted to get to the actual gritty of this. How are you related to El Paso? How is it that you ended up in El Paso, working here now several years? You're really good friends with Robert and Hector, which are really good friends of mine. We've been collaborating for many years now.
Yeah.
At one point, we were competition, but they're really good guys. Explain to us how you ended up in El Paso Fashion Week.
So first off, El Paso is like, I want to say like my third home. It's always friendly and love when I'm out there, especially from Robert and the Heck. Those are my boys. You know, built such a good relationship with those guys. They're like my brothers out there. They treat me like family. You know, their whole family's like my family, which makes me feel extremely welcome. So a friend of Robert's has reached out to me and was like, hey, there's this, you know, event called El Paso Fashion Week. You know, like, I feel like it would be good to have you as a special guest. You know, you could guest judge, you know, El Paso top model and all that stuff. And me, I'm all about giving back. You know, like, it's all about inspiring other people. Because I remember being, you know, like, and, you know, I would, like, coming up in the game, you know, I would love to get advice from someone that was in the game, you know? So, like, so if I can do that for someone, or, you know, just be able to inspire someone, or that's always been my thing, you know? So, like, I was like, man, I'll just love to go and hang out and talk to people and answer questions, you know? Like, I want to give this knowledge. I want to spread this. Like, I don't want to keep it for myself. I want to, you know, I would love to meet people, and, you know, I love people that's chasing the dream, you know? That's because I'm still chasing the dream. People see me as a finished product. I'm just getting started, you know? Like, this is, I'm not even at my peak yet. Like, I still got so much ahead of me. But so a friend had reached out. I was like, yeah, I'm more than welcome to come. And then from that point on, you know, I met the directors of it, Robert and Hector. And then with them, I hit it off real good. And I was like, man, like, I want to be a part of this. Like, I want to see this grow. I want to continue to see this grow, especially being in this city, you know, like, this is a small city, but there's a lot of love here, you know, and I want to be a part of that. I've always been treated like that. So from that point on, I was like, man, like, make me a part of this. Like, let's do this, you know. And then they have their Puerto Rican designers that, you know, I'm Boricua myself, so it's cool to collab with them as well, you know. So, and from that point on, it's just networking and, you know, and then creating friendships and bonds, you know. So every year I look forward to it, you know. Like, I'm sad about this year because I don't know what's going to happen with this whole COVID thing. But the bigger, the better, you know. Like, so maybe next year, you know. So, but that's how that whole relationship came about, and it's been ongoing since, you know.
You've been here 2-3 years already, right? Or how long has it been?
It's 3 years. I've been out here 3 years.
You've been here 3 times already.
Yeah. 3 years already.
The last time after the finale, we went out to the club and we had some drinks. Everybody was trying to get pictures with Jordan Torres.
It's always love. I'm telling you, that city makes me feel like, you know, like it makes all the hard work and the sacrifices worth it, you know. And to this day, you know, I still got friendships with a lot of people from there, and they always reaching out. I'm always down to give advice, you know, like, you know, I don't really see myself as other people do, you know. I'm just trying to keep humble, you know. Like, I feel like can't get ahead of yourself because you could lose it all tomorrow.
Absolutely. And I think, honestly, Jordan, since you're very transparent, I think that's why it's easy for people to you know, to love you and show so much respect immediately right off the bat. El Paso is a very family-oriented city, which I feel is why a lot of us that left. I was living in LA, you know, 20 years ago, and I was sucked in right back into my city. But yeah, it's easy, you know, to see why people like you. And you know, you're pretty much like a magnet, man. You attract a lot of great vibes. So
appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, good energy.
You have a good aura, and you're on your way up. Speaking of, you say you weren't done. You say you were just getting started. I want to close off with this. You say you were shooting some pilots. Does that mean, are you into the acting game already? You're straight into it?
Yeah, I'm in it. So that, you know, that was the hard transition for me, because going from modeling to acting, you know, like, you would think your resume would kind of come with you, but you're starting fresh, you know, like, it's like starting all over, like that, you know, those 6 to 8 years of work just went straight out the window, you know. So I had to come up from square one, and then finding the right manager and all that stuff. And, you know, being from New York, I have, you know, it's just the littlest things with acting that, you know, you could be too tall, you could be too big, you could have, you know, rough of an accent, you know, like, it's a whole different ball game. So I've been studying the past 2 years, you know, and I took myself out of the audition process and everything. And you're like, you know what? I want to perfect my craft as an actor before I get out there, because I'm with a team that's not sending me, you know, like I'm getting these big appointments that could change my life tomorrow. You know, like if one person says yes, my family's good, I'm taking off, you know? Yep. So like, these are the stuff I'm auditioning for now. Like I'm reading for some pretty big projects, you know, like, and I've read for some projects that already came out that I was like, man, like I go to the movie theater and I see, I'm like, man, that could have been me. It's a good feeling, you know, but it's almost like, it's weird because like the closer you are, the further you feel, you know, but this is the closest I'm ever going to be in my life, you know? Yeah. So the acting thing is really on point right now, you know, like, especially now with the whole COVID, it's like I'm self-taping every other day. Like self-tapes is like my life right now. Like I'm studying 10, 12 pages scripts, you know, all feature films, you know, big Netflix series, like all this stuff. So I was supposed to be shooting 2 pilots for the same production, but the whole COVID situation happened. So it got pushed back. So now a couple things are changing in that whole process. So I'm just waiting to get the green light, you know, and then from that point on, you know, but until then, I'm still in the groove of, you know, like doing things. So like, yeah, acting is my main focus right now. Like acting is something like, you know, modeling is the blessing, you know, still paying my bills. You know, I'm always gonna, you know, I'm always gonna be able to do both because that's my thing. You know, I love to take pictures, but acting's the bigger thing for me because I want to create a bigger platform, a bigger voice to be able to inspire the youth and give back. And I feel like with TV and film, and once you get on that platform, you know, things kind of change a bit. So that's the next step for JT.
Did you have to take classes? Did any of your agents require you or suggest that you take some classes? Because I mean, I know that's kind of standard in LA.
Yeah. I recommend it. You know, like I feel like some of the best basketball players or best actors, you know, they study, you know, like it's all about, you're going to be learning for the rest of your life. You know, I've met 70-year-old men that are actors and they still taking acting classes, you know? So like me, I'm one to learn, you know, I'm a sponge right now. I want to soak everything in. So class is something I take really, really serious, you know, like even during COVID, we'll still have classes on Zoom, you know, like, so that's something that you always want to add more tools to the toolbox, you know? So I recommend everybody to, you know, like if that's something you want to do, become great at it, but also learn, read about it. And, you know, once you give something your all, you're gonna get rewarded.
Absolutely. Well, we've had acting courses here at LAT Studio for the last 13 years. And
nice.
The spring semester was canceled because of COVID. But we're going to get back and going on September 19th. We start our fall semester. So all of you guys out there watching, log on to latstudio.com and check out those deadlines. All right, Mr. Jordan Torres, man, it's been such a pleasure learning more from you. Every time that I get a couple of minutes to sit down and talk to you, I learn more. And
appreciate it,
above that, man, it's very inspirational to hear these stories. As we sign off, we're going to roll another editorial slideshow of Torres. And is there anything coming up for Jordan? What should people expect? How can they follow you? Give us a little bit of a quick, insight on how people can follow you or keep up with what's next.
For sure. So you could follow my Facebook page, Jordan Torres. Also on Instagram, official JT, OFFICIAL. JT, a lot of my new work. I've been posting a lot of my new work. Also on Twitter, it's official JT. I just released 2 magazine covers. You know, I got another magazine cover next week. So I got some work coming out. So keep in touch with me.
That's dope, man. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on our local icon segment. And I hope to see nothing but great things coming soon. All right, brother?
Thank you, brother. I wish you all the best as well. Continue to do what you do for your city. And I'm sure I'll see you again soon.
All right, my man. Have a good one. Everybody out there, thank you for joining us today. You guys have a blessed day. Till next time.
Get discovered, get exposure, and play at the next level. Prep One. Follow us on all social media platforms.
Baila El Paso Baila. LAT Studio offers a full dance division with jazz, hip-hop, ballet, and contemporary. Visit latstudio.com today.